Hi everybody, welcome to my review of Season 3, Episode 21 of Little Women Atlanta. If you haven't seen this episode yet, this video will act like a spoiler, so you might want to watch this video later. The name of this episode is Season 3 Reunion, Part 1. The reunion is hosted by Tara Jolie. Tara points out how it's nice to see the twins sitting together again, considering how Andrea left town in the season finale. She asks Andrea where she went. Andrea said she went back to Dallas with both of her kids. They show some clips from Season 3. Tara asks Juicy what it was like after Minnie told her she wasn't pregnant. Juicy said she was relieved and finally told her the truth. Amanda said she doesn't understand how Minnie didn't tell her and her sister the truth before Juicy. Minnie said she wanted to shut Juicy up since she's always in other people's business. Amanda tells Minnie to be straight up with her and her sister in the future because they were defending her and then making themselves look dumb while doing so. Tara asks Sam why did Minnie's lie affect her so much. Sam says there are so many women in the world that are having trouble getting pregnant, so it kind of hurt her. She knew that it wasn't right for her to bring up some things from the past at Minnie's birthday party, but at the same time, she was going to do what she had to do. Minnie says Tanya was the one who pulled up her mugshot, not Sam. Minnie explains the backstory of her mugshot. She says that she was in her early 20s and she was hanging with the wrong crowd. She says that the group of girls that she was hanging out with were stealing from the store, and she got arrested because she was seen with them. They show some clips regarding Minnie and her relationship with her mother, Tammy. Minnie says that she's finally living on her own. Tara asks Minnie if it was hard for her to move away from her mom. Minnie says yes, because people don't understand that her mom was all she had. Her father wasn't in the picture, and it was just her and her mother. Minnie's mother, Tammy, joins everyone on stage. Tara asks Tammy how it was relying on Minnie for a place after Minnie relied on her for 30-something years. Tammy says that payback is She said that she had tore her meniscus, was out of work for 2.5 months, and then her landlord came and kicked her out of her place. Tara asks Tammy if she thinks she's overprotective of Minnie. Tammy says that she knows she is. When she had Minnie, she didn't have any information about little people. She had to research achondroplasia herself. She had to deal with kids picking on Minnie when she was a kid. It doesn't stop. Then they show some clips regarding Miss Juicy and Minnie's relationship. Tara points out how, when Juicy invited Minnie to meet her mother and sister, they were on good terms. Juicy says that her mom and sister are sick of her and Minnie going back and forth with each other, and her mom lets her handle her own battles. And Minnie says that her mother does too. Juicy tells Minnie that she never said her mother didn't. Tara asks Tammy if she thought that Juicy should have been at the housewarming party she was invited to. Tammy said honestly she didn't care, and she thinks that Juicy perceives her as the big bad wolf and going around saying that she's a victim like she attacked her. She says she doesn't care what size you are. If you come for her daughter, she's coming for you. Tanya says that she thinks that there's a line that should be drawn as a mom. Tammy interrupts Tanya and says that that's just Tanya. She says with her kids, she will be overprotective, but Juicy didn't touch Minnie, so she didn't feel like anything physical had to be done to Juicy. And she felt like throwing chicken wings was over the top. Tara asks Tanya if she thought that Tammy was modeling good behavior as a mother. Tanya says she guesses that's Tammy's character. Then Tammy claps back at Tanya and says, at least my character is to be with one man and have one child with that man. Tanya says that there are a lot of people in this world who have lots of children by different men. Then Tammy says, and a lot of people know how to use protection. And she tells Tanya to get tested. Then Tanya says that she did and she's nice and clean. Then Tanya tells Juicy to remember that Minnie's mother has been only with one man in her whole life. Then Minnie tells Tanya to shut up and stay pregnant. Minnie says Tanya gets under her skin so much because she's always talking mess. And because she's pregnant, she thinks that she can say just anything. Minnie tells Tanya to get her family together. Tanya tells Minnie to get a family before she can criticize anybody else's. Minnie says she has a family. Tammy tells Tanya to keep it going. Tanya says she's going to keep going and she's not afraid of anybody. Minnie tells Tanya that she'll catch her in 3 more months. She says that's not a threat, it's a promise. Tara asks Money how she feels about the feud between the 4. She says she doesn't like it. They all go through the same thing and they need to be coming together. Tara asks Juicy if she thought it was appropriate for Minnie to crash her birthday party. Juicy said she gave her a chance to leave on her own. Then she had security escort her out. Minnie says that she made a grand entrance and a grand exit. Then Minnie talks about how Juicy's dress that she wore at her birthday party was homemade, and since it was her birthday, she could have had something more extravagant. Juicy said that that's Minnie's opinion. Minnie says that her grandmother could have sewed better than that. Juicy says maybe she could do that for Minnie. Minnie tells Juicy to shut the up. Then Tammy gets riled up because Juicy's talking about her mother now. She tells Juicy not to talk about her mother. Juicy says she's not talking about anybody's mother. Tammy tells Juicy to shut up once again. And in between the censor bleeps, all you can hear is Minnie saying, "Blueberry, you're looking like a blueberry," which causes one to assume that she's talking about the outfit that Juicy was wearing at the moment. A blue dress. That does not make sense because Minnie is also wearing a blue dress. Anyway. And then Minnie starts talking about how tight Miss Juicy's dress is. And she says one fart and Juicy's dress could be blown off. And then Miss Juicy pulls out a bedazzled keg out of her bust and she starts drinking out of it. Tara asks Tammy if she feels like she owes anyone on the stage an apology. Tammy says no. She says that she's never going to apologize to Juicy. Juicy says that she doesn't have to. Tammy says she keeps hearing things about her behind the camera. But she's there, woman to woman, face to face, and she wants to know what Juicy has to say about her, and she's giving her the floor. She tells Juicy whatever she has to say about her, she should say it to her face. Juicy says she's not scared of anybody. She doesn't need anybody's approval to do anything. She then reaches over and picks up one of her custom-made bobbleheads, and then she presses the button, and the bobblehead says, "Respect me, I will respect you." Then Minnie says that that was a joke. And then Tammy says that that's why Juicy has a face for radio. And then Tammy is asked to leave the stage. Next, they show some scenes regarding Money and Moreland's relationship. They also showed a deleted scene of the twins talking about how they thought that Money pawned her engagement ring. Back on stage, Money says that she did not pawn her engagement ring. She just lost it. Tara asks where Money gets her money from. Money says that she's currently spending Moreland's money. Tara asks the twins what they thought of Money's interaction with her friend Greg. They say that they wouldn't have talked to Greg the same way. Andrea says she thinks that Money was being inappropriate with the way she was touching him. Tanya says that Money was trying to speak over the music of the party. Tara asks Minnie why she felt it was necessary to take pictures of Money. Minnie says she did that so she could show Money what she did when she sobered up, and she felt like she was being inappropriate. Money says that her friend Greg is cool with her and Moreland. Tara asks Money if at one point she was scared that Moreland would leave her forever. Money says when she lost the ring, yes, because Moreland was communicating with her much less. But when they get married, they will communicate with each other. Some clips regarding Tanya and Sam's friendship, including Nico, are shown. Sam says that she felt like Nico was in town to visit Tanya, and his son wasn't even in town when he visited. Tanya says that what really happened was Nico was looking to move to Atlanta to be around his son. So he says. Tara asks Tanya when Sam walked out on her, did she feel abandoned? Tanya says she did. She begins to get emotional. She says that she thought Sam would stay. Sam says that she should have stayed, and she apologizes. Tanya tells Sam that's okay, and at the end of the day, Sam should do what's best for her. Tanya says what she was afraid of, which is Nico leaving, actually came true. Then, Nico joins everybody on the stage. Sam gets up and sits on the other side of the room. Tanya says that she doesn't have anything to say to Nico. Tara asks Nico how he feels about Tanya not having anything to say to her. Nico says that Tanya plays games, and he hasn't done anything wrong in the whole scenario. He says most of the ladies on the stage don't really know her, and there's a lot that Tanya wants to say to him that she won't say. He says people want to play the victim and act like big bad Nico just came to Atlanta, slept with Tanya, got her pregnant, and left is not the story. Sam butts in and says that she heard he and Tanya's conversations, and he said how bad he wanted to be with her. She says that Nico got Tanya pregnant, and then he booted. Then Tanya cried to her because Nico didn't want a relationship with her. Tanya says Nico was inconsistently in their child's life, and he got mad when she expressed that. I decided to act out this small scene because I thought it was funny. I originally had been making more consistent visits with my son ever since you told me that you broke up with Devon. How consistent were they? Don't blame me! Tanya, I have always been your best friend and looked out for you since day one, even when I didn't even know how to. Well, you should have been with her if you wanted to be. Does Devon being in your son's life affect you? Oh! Tanya, don't go there. Don't make me say stuff that I don't want to say. Then, Devon joins everybody on stage. Nico is so dramatic, man. When I rewatched this episode, I had to replay the part where Nico said, "Don't play me," a few times. And Amanda's facial expression after he said that was just the icing on the cake. That mess was comedy. Tara asks Devon what his relationship with Tanya is at the moment. Devon says they're just co-parenting, and he'd be comfortable with Tanya dating other men since they're not in a relationship. Tara asks Devon if he loves Tanya. Devon says he does. And then they showed the twins. They had the little, oh, that's so cute face when you make the sad mouth, and they made the aw noise, I don't know why that's so funny to me. Then they showed some clips regarding Tanya and Nico's relationship. Tara asks Nico if he thinks that Tanya misrepresents him and his relationship with his children. Nico says, yes, 100%. He says that when their son Jaden was born, he wasn't there all the time like he should have been because of some certain factors that he does not want to discuss. He says that he did make an effort, and that's all he's trying to get across. Devon tells Nico to say what he has to say and keep it 100. Nico said when Tanya told him that Devon was moving to Atlanta after she got pregnant, he had a conversation about how he wanted to get back with her and how Tanya wanted to get an abortion. And if Nico wasn't going to raise their new child, Devon would step in and raise his child too. And then Nico tells Tanya, he's all like, "You got this dude on reserve from New York." Then Tanya says she did not have Devon on reserve. Nico says Tanya did tell him that to reserve the circumstances. Tara asks Devon if he thinks that Tanya manipulates circumstances to benefit herself. Devon says Tanya would have a way with words, and sometimes he felt like he was kept on the sidelines. Tara asks Devon if he asked Tanya to have an abortion when he found out she was pregnant with Nico's baby. Devon said not necessarily, but he told her if she feels like she should do that, then go ahead. Devon says that he shouldn't have to take the father role for Tanya's third child after she is born if Nico is going to be there. Tanya says that nothing else matters but Nico stepping up as a father and being there. She says that when Nico leaves their son Jaden doesn't know when Nico is coming back, and she has to deal with Jaden's emotions. Tanya tells Nico that he can see his son and daughter whenever he wants. She tells him to keep it consistent as a father, and see his son more than every blue moon. She tells Nico to put their son before himself. Nico tells Tanya to put their son before herself. Tanya says she does. Then, Devon and Nico leave the stage. The final topic of the episode is the Tiny Twins, regarding their career change from twerking to hosting gigs. They showed a clip of their first hosting gig and footage of Tanya's friend Abira not supporting them and arguing with the twins in the parking lot. Amanda says that watching that clip made her mad because her sister had the nerve to invite her to the gig, and Amira was booing them because they weren't twerking. She told her that they were hosting the club and it was their first time hosting. And then, Abira joins everybody on stage. Tara asks Abira if she was disappointed in the twins hosting that evening. Abira says she was disappointed about how the twins were hosting. She said if they got the crowd's attention a little bit more, it would have gone better for them. Amanda tells Abira that it was their first gig and she didn't know how to talk in front of a crowd. Abira says if she doesn't know how to talk in front of a crowd, she shouldn't be hosting. Tara asks Abira why she was heckling the twins. Abira says she wasn't necessarily heckling them, but she was in her own mood and wasn't getting the other girls involved in making faces, etc. Amanda tells Abira that her sister was nice enough to invite her to the gig and they didn't even know who she was. She says on the clip she saw that Abira said she couldn't understand what her and her sister were saying, and she says that she has speech problems. Abira says that Amanda was in her face, and she asks what's wrong with expressing her opinion. Andrea says she doesn't understand why Abira brought up how the twins have small fingers when all little people have small fingers. Abira said she didn't say she didn't have small fingers. She just said it because she thought it would be something funny to say. Then Amanda asks why Abira brought up her boyfriend Jordan during the argument, considering how he had nothing to do with it. Abira says she said that because the twins were asking where her baby daddy was, and if they ask where her baby daddy is, she's going to bring up theirs, and how Andreas is missing, and how Amanda's doesn't want to marry her. Then, Abira and the twins start going back and forth with each other. Abira says she's not going to chase her baby daddy while he's chasing other women, and she thinks that Andrea chases Chris like a dog chases a cat. Andrea says she doesn't care, and she says that Abira has 3 baby daddies and she's promiscuous. Abira tells the twins that they need a check on confidence, and they roar like lions, but they're like kids at heart. And then Minnie tells Abira, dude, shut up, and she tells her to get some Tic Tacs because the last time Abira was talking, her eyebrows almost melted away. Abira says that she should have melted Minnie's lips together so she could shut up. Then Minnie says that she catches flights, and she calls Abira a Section 8. Abira says that she doesn't get Section 8, but Minnie's mother does. Minnie asks Abira, does she realize that she looks like a man and looks like Wanda from the show In Living Color? Tara asks Minnie why is she angry with Abira. Minnie says because Abira is fake. Abira asks Minnie if she's intimidated by her. Minnie says that Abira is a man and why would she be intimidated? Abira says maybe Minnie is scared to get her behind whooped, and she says that she wants Minnie to touch her. Then Abira gets up and starts to go near Minnie. One of the twins stands up and asks her what she's gonna do. Abira says that the twins are a couple of little chihuahuas, and then Minnie throws some dollars at Abira and tells her to get a new outfit, and that it's not the Little Women prom. And then you can see Money pick up some of the dollars from the floor. Then the two get closer, then the two start catfighting, and then they get separated. Not to mention, Sam tries to hold Minnie back. While being held back, Minnie throws one of the centerpieces from the table at Abira. And that's all they show of the episode because this episode is to be continued. That's the end. Ooh, things got heated up on that stage. There's a part 2. Wonder what's gonna go down on part 2. Now we're gonna see the conclusion of this altercation between Minnie and Abira. And then they're gonna show Tammy again. She's all talking about how it's about to be Hurricane Tammy up in here. Tammy, you better sit down before you get sent to court again and then lose your job because of your actions, boo. You better control the Hurricane Tammy. Take it somewhere else because you do not need to get into any more trouble, ma'am. How old are you? What? 50 something years old? She needs to mind her own business, man. Doesn't she have a life? I guess she likes all the attention and the cameras and the lights and stuff. Guess she likes being on TV. And about this threat that Minnie made towards Tanya. She's not about to do anything. I just know. Have you guys noticed how Minnie's all big and bad when her mom's there? Yeah, she gets big and bad because her mom's around. Just watch. If Tanya follows through on what Minnie says, Minnie's gonna be like, Tanya, wait. You know, I was just playing. I was just mad. It was just the heat of the moment. And I'm sorry. And I hope we can get along. I'm gonna say one thing about this whole Money and Greg thing. Like I said in the past, that's just some fake drama. I felt like it was unnecessary to talk about. Said there was nothing going on. She was just trying to talk in his ear, you know, because it was loud in the party, you know. That was just a waste of time. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. And this woman, Abira, man, she needs to get her act together for the sake of her kids, man. She has 4 kids, and she's all on TV, acting a fool, fighting and stuff, talking mess about people. Bet her kids are proud. Hope they don't act like that when they get older. She should be a role model, man. When you're a mother, you should be a role model. You should be thinking about what you do, you know. Shouldn't be getting into fights and stuff and talking about people's appearances. I'm surprised. I don't really have a lot to say about this episode. Oh, one more thing about next episode. Amanda's boyfriend Jordan joins everybody on stage, and both Amanda and Jordan get teary-eyed talking about something. I know they show Tara asking somebody, were they promiscuous? Whew, can't wait to see what that's about. Next episode, they're gonna focus on some happier moments from season 3. This guy Nico is just so dramatic, man. I think he should be an actor. I think he'd make a great actor. The part where he said, "Don't blame me." That mess was too funny. I know he's mad about whatever they were talking about, but just the way he did that was so funny. This review video was just basically self-explanatory. I don't have a lot of commentary, so I'm just gonna wrap this video up. Once again, I do apologize for posting this video up so late. I've been so busy and getting so tired from being busy, so that's just how it's gonna be from now on. I'm sorry, you know, I have more important things to do besides just recording YouTube videos, so I am sorry. I will try my best to post next week's video on time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Follow me on Twitter at ILUMoreThanThis. Follow me on Instagram at Taurus_charm. subscribe to my channel. If you have subscribed, turn on my notifications. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!